That sound you hear in the background is the heater. Got a little heater out here so that I can warm up my hands occasionally. First thing I'm going to try on this is to... Jeez, it scares the crap out of me every time. That's the ice shedding off the roof. Boy, this is loose. I'm going to try removing this shroud and see if I can get at the nut that holds the pulley on here. And hopefully I don't have to take everything off, take the hood and everything else off. Well, I got 3 screws off so far, and all 3 of them are different screws, so these have been stuck before. This last one is stripped completely, so I'm going to have to grind it off. There we go. The bolts on this hood are surprisingly stiff. I thought they would come right out. But that doesn't seem to be how things are going. Okay. Try a little PB blaster on there. Close the hood a bit because it was in a pretty precarious position. I got both of them hinge bolts out. And voila, one hood. So it looks like this is the toolbox here. Looks like I gotta take the toolbox off, take the upper hose off, and there's just a cotter pin that supports the top of the radiator. That's gonna be really messy, but it looks like I gotta do it to pull this stuff off from the top. Otherwise I gotta take the whole radiator out. I should be able to get at things with this off and this shroud off. It's a full shroud, so I can't pull it out from the side. Well, it's turning out to be a lot of work. These 3 screws, I thought they were gonna be just some self-tapping screws, but they're not. They're machine screws. One of them had just a nut on it. One had a nut and a lock washer. This one has a lock washer as well. So I must have lost one of the lock washers along the way. But this one was on there really tight, so uh-oh. Is there more? Thought this would take 2 days. One day for the putting the alternator on, and one day for the wiring. Boy, was I wrong. sure what that is. There's something in there. Let's pull it out. It looks like it could be a piece of zinc that they're using to be a sacrificial anode to keep the radiator from rusting. I don't know, it's pretty curious. It's blocking the flow. Maybe it broke off from somewhere else. Never seen that before. We used to put these on ships, on the bottom of ships, big plate of zinc, and then you have to replace them every once in a while. The galvanic, what is it, galvanic response? Anyways, it instead of rusting your hull, it would attack the zinc anode. That could be what's going on here, but why the hell would it be in there blocking the flow? So I guess I'm glad I had to take this off in a not so glad kind of a way. Well, time to wash my hands, go have some lunch. This is going to take forever. A little overview of where things are at. The hood is off. I decided I might as well put the lights on. I have to mount these. Mount these lights. They go down here. I gotta get those on before I need to get those on and wired up as part of the rewire anyways. I'm not going to do a whole lot of body work or anything on it right now. I'll take it back apart in the fall and probably have my brother do the body work for me because that's what he does. So I tried taking off the tool rest or the toolbox here, and that did not work. You have little machine screws and a nut. Got those off without too much of a hassle, but I have no idea what's holding it on, and I'm not going to start beating on it. So that takes us to the radiator. It appears to be in good shape, but the mounting flanges for the hood, it looks like somebody tried to weld this on. I don't know what the hell they did. You could tell on this side there's a huge blob of weld on here where somebody welded a nut onto this ear. And this ear is pretty intact, but it's got a nut hanging down, and they threaded the hole here. So I'll have to touch that stuff up before I put it back together. But right now, not sure if you can see that or not, there's, I believe, yeah, see, this one doesn't even have the nut on. This is a bolt for the radiator, so this is loose, yep. And this is loose too. So I'm gonna yank the radiator off, pull that shroud off, and then get this alternator mounted correctly. I might have to go buy a thinner nut for the water pump. Go up a grade and get a thinner nut. Oh boy, yeah, what what a job. I thought this was going to be easy. No, nothing on these old tractors is ever easy. And then when you run into the old farmer fixes, depending on the farmer, so far I have yet to run into like a high quality fix. It's always just, you know, a crappy weld or baling wire. So I'm gonna pull this radiator off. No need to film that. Pull that shroud off, and I'll let you see what it looks like with just the fan. All right, the radiator's out. For those of you who are planning on, and the shroud is out. For those of you who are planning on doing this yourself, make note that on the left-hand side, looking at the tractor, it is a bolt hole, and on this side it's a slot. So you get this bolt in there, and then you can slide it into the hose. But this was actually missing the nut, so I got a few nuts and bolts to go to town and pick up. The cotter pin here, as I said before, baling wire. They put a piece of baling wire on there because they lost a cotter pin. I'll get a cotter pin on there. But now I can get at this. All right, and there's the fan. Belt doesn't look too bad. Now I gotta get the pulley off. And there we have it. That's the little bugger I'm after. Between the back of this, you can see once I put it on here, there just isn't enough room to get the nut off without grinding on the nut. And I want to be able to play around with it and make sure that my bracket is straight going to the alternator. So I'm glad I took this stuff off. I found out a few things that need to be repaired right away. So I'm gonna get at it. I'll start filming again in a little bit. Does the upper bracket go that way? Or does it go that way? That is the question. A lot easier to find out without all of this stuff in your way. If you've ever seen some of them how-to videos, especially by the people that sell these kits and stuff, they'll say, I've taken off the radiator and I've taken off the hood and the radiator so I can get at the bracket. They don't tell you what that really entails. Well, I spun it around and tried it the other way real quick. No point in even showing it. It just can't go that way. If you flip this around, the bracket, instead of coming down and going like that, it goes up, and there's just no way it can go on. So this is the configuration that it needs. Well, I don't know how you would do this without taking off the front part of this tractor. If you're gonna put one of these on, this is what you gotta do. A good time to flush your radiator and clean stuff out here. I'm gonna take a putty knife and get some of the, you know, I got 40-50 years of grime on here. Get a little bit of that off and get everything nice and tight and adjusted. I'll show some of that, but I won't show most of it. See, this belt just rides in this slot. Well, it doesn't ride in it. It's a cutaway. So that it doesn't rub there. And if this belt was tighter, as tight as I can get it with the adjustment that's built into this bracket. It's at its furthest point here, and it's pivoted all the way forward. So that's as tight as I can get it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check into a different belt. This belt is definitely not gonna work. Okay, that marks the end of another day. This is how it needs to go on, how it sits. But it comes real close to hitting here, but it must have come close to hitting there before. The belt comes right up in this groove. It'd be nice if this was much tighter in, like about that. Then that belt wouldn't be so prone to hitting in there. But then what size belt does it take? I think the answer is on my other tractor, my Farmall A. So I'll give you a peek at that, and that's what I'm going to end up doing. All right, here's the Farmall A, and what this has, this nice tiny little 1/2 inch is nice. See, that doesn't line up all that well either. But anyways, this has the cogged segmented belt. And I believe you could just take one off or add one to make it the size you need. Yeah, a lot of them have this little tray like that. This one looks homemade. It's welded. You know, it's got like a sloppy weld right here. But it's a far sight better than what I have right now. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Measure the belt that I have and get a cogged one that's at least that long and try to get it to a size that'll work. What a pain in the butt.